Hey guys, and welcome back to the Watch the Craic podcast. Today's guest, I'm so bloody excited. They're one of my favorite people to ever exist.
Whap, whap, whap.
Whap, whap, whap. It is Airy. Hi. Airy, if I had to ask you, because I ask everybody the same question, what is it you do?
First of all, can I ask you a question?
Okay.
Can I swear?
Yeah, just give it 30 seconds and then you're grand.
What is it that I do? Okay, let me go back to your question.
Also, no C word.
No C word, fair.
Yeah.
Crazy. I know. Crazy.
Oh,
Is that the word?
Don't call me that.
So what do? I do several things, don't I?
You do.
So I'm a fashion stylist, which is how we know each other.
Yes.
Because we've just done a gorgeous shoot together.
Please don't judge his fashion styling by how I'm dressed today. He did not dress me. He dresses me much better. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so I'm a fashion stylist, I'm a drag queen, I'm a DJ, and I'm a writer.
Ooh, I didn't know about the writing.
Yeah, I'm a writer. So that's how it started out, actually.
Really?
That's how I ended up in fashion styling, because I was a fashion writer before, first.
For what? Like a publication or a blog?
For ID magazine. Yeah.
Of course it's ID.
So what I did was I ended up being a fashion writer because I came out of fashion PR. So when I graduated uni, I did graphic design at St Martin's, which I've not really used particularly. I just sort of was taking drugs and going to parties basically for the whole thing. And then after I graduated, my friend her husband had a fashion label, so they kind of got me in to do PR in-house for them. So I was writing, and then off the back of that, I started writing articles for various magazines, including ID, and then and I was like, I miss image making.
Yeah.
I wanted to make some images, and I was
Make some art.
do you know what I mean? Make some art.
Yeah.
And so I ended up sort of sidestepping into fashion styling by kind of borderline conning them into let me do a shoot, because I was like, I'd been commissioned to do an article, and I was so fucking tactical about it.
Right.
So I was like, I kind of planned it out. I was like, right, let me write an article for ID about new pop girls, because I knew that I could make a bit of money styling music artists like your good self. So I was like, let me do this article about new pop girls. Mm-hmm. And so that was commissioned and signed off, and I was like, oh guys, can I do you mind if I put together a shoot to go with the piece? Yes. And I did it that way around.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, sure. And then literally I was like, cool, I'm a fashion stylist now.
Dude, because you literally straight in publication.
Yeah.
Which people work forever.
I know.
To get in a publication, and you're like, hey.
But the thing is, I couldn't afford to do internships, because that's how there's such a system.
It's a joke. It's like,
such a
come here
hierarchy.
and make coffees and be my little lackey.
I couldn't
for
afford
a year.
I couldn't, but often more than a year.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's sometimes more than a year, especially at magazines, and it's just something that I couldn't afford, and I didn't have the sort of social capital or contacts to do that. So I just had to figure out a way of making it work.
That's that thing I always laugh about with nepotism babies and stuff.
Yeah.
No shame, because some great artists of all kinds are nepo babies, but it's like, oh, I did this and I did that, and I grinded really hard, and it's like, yeah, but remember all those free those internships that you didn't get paid? Who paid your rent? Oh,
you know what I mean?
your parents.
Do you know what I mean?
It's like, oh, I went and I disappeared for a year to write this album. Who paid for the studio time? Who paid for the accommodation and the musician? Okay.
It's so true.
Yeah.
Did you see Jamie Lee Curtis at the SAG Awards doing that Nepo baby thing?
No.
So basically, they did this little ident where they were kind of going around the tables and being like, I'm an actor, and like a little comedy bit.
Yeah.
And Jamie Lee Curtis was like, I first got my big acting break when my father... Nepo, then in brackets she says out loud Nepo baby, and then carries on. I was like, okay, great. I'm glad that people are acknowledging it now, and it's like a bit of a thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's important. I think it's important to acknowledge.
Yes, it's nobody's taking away from your ability or your because it's a lot of the time, it's in your genes, but it's like you have to accept that there was a little leg up there
100.
to help you in.
100.
So either they were already in that industry and that was a stepping stone that got you loads of stuff, or they're minted,
and there are equally talented people who don't have those connections that are just kind of lost in the
translation
ether. Do you know what I mean?
Just trying,
just
grinding,
slogging away in Slough or wherever they are.
Because I meet so many in just random music events. And
what, Nepo babies?
Yeah,
oh God,
yeah. But more so the rich parent thing, not necessarily industry.
Yeah.
And it's like, I've done this thing and I'm doing this thing and da-da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, how the bloody hell are you living in Knightsbridge?
Do you know what I mean?
And you've made 2 EPs?
Literally, I had mates when I came out of uni who were sort of gifted flats.
Yeah, I know.
Like from their parents, like, congratulations, you've graduated. Here's a fucking like flat in Fitzrovia. You're like, wait, what?
I know.
But I had no. I don't know. I don't know what your like demographic or background is, but like I'm like working classes or buggery. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Same.
So like I had no concept of like how much money was actually
out there.
A thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I was kind of moving to London as like a 19-year-old, confronted with this incredible like wealth that I'd never seen before. I was like, wait, what? I was like, wait, am I a complete scrubber? Love that for me.
Yeah.
Because I thought I was kind of fancy, but apparently not.
No, I grew up in the arse end of nowhere, and like my parents went from being like pretty dirt broke, like, cause my dad was a brickie, and my mum worked in the court service, and like was stuck at the one wage for her whole life. Anyway, God bless her, she worked really hard. She did there for 32 years. God bless you, Patricia.
Well done, Pat.
But then my dad went on to like end up studying to do teaching, because this college wanted him to teach bricklaying and things. Okay. So then I'm not saying that we had access to much more money, but we had more than what I had when I was way younger.
Something happened that similar happened to me actually, because my parents' business kind of became more like solvent or whatever, like when I was a bit older, and I was like, fuck, I could have done with this bloody money when I was like,
I know. Younger. I just always, it was never like in a sad way, but I was just aware that like we didn't have what other people had.
Yeah.
But then also a lot of people think that I was privileged and things because like I had like horses and stuff.
Well, it's all relative, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is. I was not as broke as some people I did know, but like there's 4 kids under 5, dude. Like,
what was your kind of area like where you grew up? Was it like countryside-y?
Middle of nowhere, absolutely. Yeah. So my parents built a house in the middle of nowhere, whenever you could actually buy houses and buy land.
Okay. Ours was, because I'm from the Peak. I'm from Derbyshire, so we were sort of like on the edge of the Peak District.
Oh, it's really pretty.
Really pretty, but it's very lots of like miners' terraces and market towns, so they're kind of like they're small kind of like market villages and towns and stuff. Do you know what I mean? And they're with various demographics throughout Derbyshire. I've noticed that in Derbyshire there seems to be this thing of like, because obviously it's very like pretty, isn't it? So people will like people from London will buy properties and kind of use them as Airbnbs or like holiday homes and stuff like that. So there's like lots of like empty properties. That's just
really annoying.
Yeah,
like I can't remember the number of empty houses and apartments in London, but it is crazy.
Yeah, it's wild, isn't it? It's like absolutely obscene. It's absolutely obscene.
Because
they're just storing money in them, aren't they? Like these big.
Well, because you know a property value isn't going to decline in London. So if you've got loads of money and you don't want it to just be in your bank account, it's like, yeah, of course you're going to buy property.
Although surely it can't just keep going up. I don't know how the financial system works, but like I'm sure it just can't keep going up and up and up, can it?
It seems bizarre. Like the London thing, just big cities. I think they need to do what Canada did and put a ban and like make it like a 5-year ban or something where only people who've lived in the country for a certain amount of time or natives can buy property.
Because it's not regulated at all, is it?
No, it's not. Anybody can buy. So like any big rich people are obviously going to buy places in London.
With like rents, I know in Berlin they have like it's all regulated. So if you're a landlord, you have to apply to put your rent up by a tiny percentage. And you can only apply like every 4 or 5 years or something, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. I was so afraid. I got a letter saying my rent was going up and I was like, no, it's already extortionate.
Yeah, well, my rent went up last year. They were like,
how much?
Only by £100, but still. But they were like, so there's a cost of living crisis, so we're putting the rent up. I'm like, well,
how does that affect you? Sense. How does that affect you though?
Make it make sense with your property portfolio.
Yeah.
Landlord.
It upsets me so much. Blech. Mine only went up by £50, but my house is falling apart, so I was like,
do you know what I mean? Oh, my flat is crap.
It's so fun.
It's crap.
Because you've made it fun.
We've chucked a bit of glitter on it. Don't get me wrong. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. It's so fun. Yeah, but I suppose
if you squint, it looks cute. Well, you've seen it actually.
I've seen it, and I love the vibes.
Yeah, it's nice.
But it's one of those things where it's like if you took all your stuff out of it.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
Then you'd be able to see.
It's just a regular
probably regular apartment.
Yeah.
It's kind of a flat. Yeah.
Yeah. No, definitely. So I have to ask so many things. Oh my god. I have so many questions. Right. So that's how you got into the fashion side of things.
Yeah.
So I have to say, because you shave your brows.
I do.
You do, and it's so fun, and I'm so jelly.
Yes.
But you do it for drag, right?
I do, yeah. And also, I quite like the look of it just day to day.
A vibe.
Because my eyebrows are incredibly pale anyway. So like, when I was at school, I actually shaved one of them off to see if anyone would notice. No one did.
No one did.
No,
because you got a tinge of ginge in the fringe.
I'm super ginge. I'm literally
full
like,
ginge.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
You're living my dream.
Fire crotch, all that business. Yeah, fully ginge, full ginge. But weirdly, like, it seems like every part of my body has like a different color hair. So kind of like pits are sandy, pubes ginger, hair kind of like sandy ginger, eyebrows white blonde.
That always happens. Yeah, the white eyelashes,
beard,
the white
red.
Ah,
yeah. Reddy blonde. Yeah.
See,
because you're a fake ginger, aren't
I'm
you?
a fake
Because like,
ginger.
did everyone think you were ginger for like years?
I dyed it for 10 years, dude.
Mate,
I was ginger for like 10, 11 years, and then everyone thinks I'm ginger. And then obviously you always get that question, does the carpet match the drapes? And I'm like, I haven't seen the drapes since I was 15, bro. I don't even know. I don't even remember. I can't even tell you.
Wow.
Literally.
No, I've not seen the
This
drapes.
is way too much, but like I grew them out because I was going to do a video for YouTube where I was going to get my you know, wax for the first time.
Okay.
A bikini wax for the first time. I literally went to my mate. I was like, can I show you my bush? And they were only the top of it. And they were like,
did you refer to this as the drapes?
Yeah.
No, that's the carpet.
Carpet, yeah,
This
the
is
carpet.
the drapes.
Carpet.
Carry on.
Anyway, I was like, can I show you a little bit of my mont pubis so you can see that I'm not a ginger? And because they were like, oh my God, your pubes are blonde. I was like, I know. No one believes me. But anyway, here we are. I still never did the video. And I'd have to grow them out again, and it's a lot.
Would you have been nude in it? Or would it have been sort of like a crop?
Oh, I just
And a
been
face
shooting my
reaction.
face and
Yeah,
then
face
shooting
reaction.
them doing it. So just loads of just me absolutely crying.
Have you ever been naked on camera? Because I have. I've got a few hilarious stories
Dude,
about that.
loads of my music videos are me. Like, I'm talking, I wasn't.
Oh yeah, you were in that pool, weren't you? Like,
There's been so many.
stalkers.
Like, it's not even that. I remember getting one of those like stick-on thongs. So like all that does is just seal you up like a Barbie doll.
Seals you up.
That's it.
Not
and then
sealed up.
the curtains closed, and then like little nipple pasties. I've been on set in those.
Okay. I had this like weird year of like nudity where people like, because I was on camera quite a bit for various things. People were taking pictures of me when I was younger, and this artist reached out and was like, oh, I'd like to make I'm doing a project on Egyptian gods. I was like, okay, fine. And he was like, I'd like to do a body cast of you from your bottom of your feet to the top of your head. And I was like,
buy me dinner
yeah,
first.
fuck it. I was like, that sounds really hilarious. Let's go. I was just kind of like, you know, there's kind of
People pay money to get that done. So it's like, okay, if you're doing it for free, then sure.
So like I turn up to this like artist's like studio, and it's all like curtained off with like plastic, like American Psycho. Like it literally looks like I'm about to get like murdered with an axe. And he's like, right, so stand here, right, take all your clothes off. I'm like, okay. So I'm just stood there like absolutely stark bollock naked in the middle of the studio. He's like, right, I'm going to cast your head first. I was like, okay. And so so I'm there.
You're naked, and then he does your head first?
Yeah. And but I'm
Couldn't
like,
you like let me keep
I'm
the
like
drawers
22,
on?
so I'm kind of like, I guess this is what we're doing. So I'm literally there, stood up in the middle of the studio, completely sealed in. You know those like alginate stuff, that weird pink slimy crap. So it's like that. Then it's plaster of Paris like strips over the top. So I'm in this like helmet, straws up my nose.
Yep.
Absolutely stark bolt naked he could have literally had neighbours round, had a buffet, film it, had a wank, like also. Do you know what I mean? Anything could have happened. But yeah, he did actually give me the cast of my head, which I then gave to my mum, that she then threw away because she said it was creepy. Because I wanted it back for like a wig block for drag. Yeah. Because I was like, that's literally my head. So like I could like style hair on it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh mum, can I get the wig? Not the wig block.
Can I have my bust back?
Can I have my bust back? And she's like, oh, I threw it away. It was creeping me out. I was like, what? Your own child's head was creeping you out?
Bro.
Yeah.
I remember my ma kept this photo my first ever boyfriend drew of me, but he was actually really good at art, and he drew this amazing photo of me at my 16th birthday party, and my mum had it hanging at the front door for like way too long.
Really?
And it got to the point where I was like, Patricia, like, you have to take that down, because like every time I see it I'm just thinking of him, and it's like really annoying. An ex. Yeah. Toxic.
No.
Do you know what? It's so unfair. Like, my first ever boyfriend started off like a wee Disney romance, and then it ended up being the most toxic shit
Really?
ever. Yeah, it was awful. Because I went from like...
Toxic how?
Because I went from schoolgirl into like TV stuff.
Yeah. Oh God.
So it was like that.
What peculiar like way of kind of like coming into the world.
Dude, don't.
Do you know what I mean?
I always say to people as well, there was right before I did the TV thing, there was this thing where I referred to it as the summer I got pretty, because I remember going to a party with him in that like October time, and I had literally been going to the same school for like the 4 years or whatever, and I went to this party, and I had these guys from the year above coming over, and they were chatting, and they were like, oh, so what school do you go to? Babes, yours. And I have been.
Wow.
And we're on the sports team together.
Wow.
I've ran track with you since I was 10.
Wow.
And yeah.
Wow.
So
wait, what do you mean got pretty? What does that even mean?
Listen, I don't know. I just like...
You just bloomed.
I went from everybody picking on me.
So all of a sudden it was like, oh, who's this?
Yeah,
okay.
like, I don't know.
Little swan moment.
Yeah, because I think it was like I stopped being so emo.
Fair. Oh, right. Did you have like the black hair and the deep side
No,
part?
I wish I was never allowed to dye my hair.
Did you straighten your hair?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Did you have the very deep side part?
So that was the difference.
Just above your ear.
Oh, it did. So that was the difference. It's like that summer was the summer I was like, I'm just leaving my hair curly. And then I was like, I'm not going to wear the big thick eyeliner. I'm just going to do my wings.
Yeah.
And I just did the basic B word makeup.
What would the eyeliner have been prior to what would the emo eyeliner have been?
It was just big black all day, isn't it?
Just like...
Yeah, dramatic.
I'm a bit old for that, for emo. I missed emo. I was just being super cool in clogs.
Imagine, like, emo in Ireland was even worse because it was like, I can't believe you're bullying me for wearing Converse.
Do you know what I mean?
How deep is it? Like, come on.
Wild. Oh my God, I follow this girl on Instagram who was at my school called Kelly Jowett, and she was like a massive like rocker at school. Like, so she was always in like Korn t-shirts. She always had like half a head shaved, like set terms. Like she was fucking cool as fuck.
Yeah.
And she's like a doctor of like, what are those people that study insects? She's one of those. She studies insects now, which is quite a gothy career to go into.
Career,
do you know what I mean? It's like mortician.
It's like they've got a room full of drawers.
Yeah.
Dead insects.
And she's like deadlifts as well. It's really cool.
Bro.
And she's just like this like really glamorous like ginger goth that like deadlifts and like.
That was my favorite thing. I remember when I was doing
around.
Heavy deadlifts and I had my pink hair.
Yeah.
So I'll be in the gym like lifting like 105 kilos or something.
I've never done deadlifting, you know. I've always done HIIT. I've never done like just straight up strength training.
Weightlifting will change your life.
Do you reckon?
I always recommend Olympic lifting to people.
Okay.
Because it's the one where it's like you're like picking it up and you're like catching it and throwing it above your head and stuff. Yeah. And it is so empowering.
Because I do stuff with dumbbells, so I'll do but I'll do HIIT stuff with like light ones.
Light ones, yeah. Well, it's like so fun because I think for me in particular, like, as I've always been like such a scrawny little thing, that whenever I really, really dedicated my life to it, like all my time to it, like all my spare time was working out. It was so fun to finally be like in a gym, still like looking small, but then I was like 50
just
kilograms.
Being, like, super strong.
Yeah, I deadlifted like over twice my body weight. So, and then I was like clean and jerking like just 5% shy off my body weight.
What's clean and jerking?
So that's where you like pick it up and you catch it here.
Oh, that's the clean, isn't it?
Yeah, clean, and then the jerk is
and
the push.
Yeah, I remember that as phrase from like, because there's dumbbell cleans. Or like rather kettlebell cleans where you kind of
kettlebell cleans, where
you lock it. Yeah, so it locks into place.
Yeah, so it's like all of that, but like, you know, you just stick on like whatever you want. If it's like hyper femme pop or if it's metal, I'm like,
I've got a Spotify playlist called Camp Workout, and it's literally just full of like the most ludicrous like pop music.
Yeah, I love
like
it.
Really like high energy, kind of like 90s and Y2K pop music. Yes. It's got things like Spice Girls on it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And do you remember that? You might not remember this, but do you remember that song by an artist called Vanessa Amorosi called Everybody? Yeah, that's on there. All that stuff. It's like very that energy. Do you know what I mean?
My gym playlist is awful.
Is it?
Because people kept asking me for it, and then I sent it to them, and it's like so intense.
What kind of stuff is that?
It's like dance, but like really intense.
Like hardcore, like techno.
It's not even. It's just high intense, high octane, all balls to the wall from the start of the song. Yeah. But it was because I used to do those crazy workouts, like 20 minutes of flat to the mat.
My running playlists are very, very intense. Like really high BPM.
Yeah.
Really high BPM.
Because I think it was like my ADHD kind of thing where it's like I need like
hyper focus on the beat.
That was me. So I needed it to be like, I have to go. I have to do the things. But yeah, I recommend it because like, oh my God, you put your hair in a high pony. And when you bend over the bell, when you lift your head, then it's like, all right, let's go. It's like so intense.
I want to try it, you know. I want to try it.
There's loads of like weightlifting clubs in London that you can do it. Yeah. You don't have to do the CrossFit route that I did.
And it's good for you. It doesn't like
so
mess
good for you.
up.
So good for if you like running because it helps you develop the muscles around your joints so that you don't injure yourself so quick.
Do you know what? I've done that before where I've had like a load of time off running and then gone running without like strengthening my muscles around my knees and stuff. And you just, it just really messes you up.
Because that's how I got into it. I ran myself into the ground because I went from being like accepted to the Northern Ireland running team to then developing an eating disorder and then not ever exercising. Yeah. And then I was sober. So post alcohol, cigarettes, blah, 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 blah. I was like, all right, I'm going to get into running. And I went to run 100 meters and I couldn't. Yeah. But then, true to form, the way my brain works, then it meant in 5 months, I went from not being able to run 100 meters to running a 5K in sub 20. What are you doing, dude? And then I had loads of injuries, which then got me into weightlifting and la 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 la. So then it was like, oh wait, I don't have to hurt myself. I can do it in a much more fun way. That's still like it tickles the part of my brain.
It takes a sec to figure out, doesn't it? Like what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? For your body.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It takes a sec just to like figure out what the like protocol is as to like what muscles need to be worked
it was
because
I stuck to the thing that I was good at, and I was known for being good at running. So then I just kind of stuck to it. I was like, oh, okay, this is the thing. And then the only fun plus side of it was like when I would do like a CrossFit class, and you got all the big beefy people, and I literally remember winning a few of the rounds because of the fact that we'd be running, and I'd be like, oh, see you later, bitches. It's like, yeah, you can lift faster than me, but you can't run because everyone's so muscle heavy. So that was like my only plus side. So I was like, hey,
light on your feet.
Yeah,
light on your feet.
Yeah, I was like, you want
Speedy
give me a
Gonzales.
20 kilograms fucking sandbag to run with? No bother.
I don't know anything about. Do you know what? When you ever say kilos, I have no idea how much that is.
Jesus.
What's that in stone?
So 50 kilos is probably like 7 stone, 10, 11.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
makes sense.
But beyond that, anyway, the drag stuff. I'm so curious because it's a world that like I haven't ever even let myself. Now this may be a bad word in yours, but like I have never let myself watch Drag Race. Okay. Because I know I'll become obsessed. Yeah. And I know I'll fall down the rabbit hole.
It's
and then
intense.
I'll become one of those like white girls that's like, yeah,
yeah.
And I'm like,
often complain about them.
I'm like, don't do that.
Yeah.
Just don't.
Yeah. No, Drag Race is fab. It's an interesting one because like I've been a club kid since day, so I've like gone out dressed up like since I was sort of like able to. Do you know what I mean? Since I was sort of like 18 or so.
Probably before legal.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Since I was allowed in the club.
Yeah, exactly. So I was always kind of like a club kid, so I'd always do like big, like wacky ass looks. But I'd never really sort of allowed myself to sort of explore drag, which was always of interest. But like I think because of I was brought up in a very religious
which I do want to talk about. Yeah. Should
we
dive into that?
Yeah, sure.
And then we'll come back to drag. Because I think that is such an important starting point that leads you into finding yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
So
what do you want to know?
So
what have you heard? What have you heard on the street?
I heard the C word. I heard the cult word.
The cult word,
and I was like, because I grew up
Yeah.
extremely religious, and I also I've dated like 2 Mormons in my life, so I like know about how their lives were as well.
Yeah.
So what
is it?
What was it? What is it? Like, as much as you can say, obviously.
Yeah, of course. So like it was so the cult itself is called The Message. There hasn't been a great deal of information about it online until fairly recently, because I've like over the all through my 20s I was trying to sort of look for sort of like forums and people that had been through a similar thing. And, so I was born into it. So the cult itself was the cult itself was founded off the back of this thing called the faith healing movement, which was like something in the States that came up in the sort of like 30s and 40s in America, and it was this thing where like basically charismatic leaders, like cult type guys, like ministers, would set up like big tents and bring local community. They would tour them like magicians or like
because they would do the faith healing. Yeah.
And they would like bring all people into the tent, all the and people would fall out. So that was a whole like trend, speaking in tongues, all that stuff.
Yeah,
that was like a massive trend back then. This particular guy that runs that founded R1, which is called The Message, was a guy called William Branham, who by all accounts was a little bit of a scammer, which kind of tracks.
The math is mathing.
The math is mathing, and he sort of like founded this thing called The Message, but it was actually a really it kind of came out of his version of Christianity was a sort of like far right sort of like Christian fundamentalist sort of thing, very racist. Yeah, so he was like trained up by the Grand High Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan.
Beautiful.
He was associated with Jim Jones of the Jonestown Massacre, all of that business.
Fell down that rabbit hole.
They were all like pals. So he that was his so he was the guy that sort of like started it all. So that's what I know now about him being a bit of a scammer and a bit of an arsehole.
Yeah.
However, what I was taught, my reality as from being born to when I was 17, when I legged it, was that he was like the prophet of the seventh church age, and you know, there's loads of jargon. Yeah, of course. Like, why do they boil up in that?
And then they also do the thing where it's like, I'm just gonna orchestrate this whole thing so that I can fuck all the bitches.
100, and also like they take so much money off people.
Yeah.
Like,
you got to pay your way into heaven, babes.
Yeah, it's called like tithing, isn't it?
Tithing.
Like, my parents pay like like 10% of absolutely everything they earn goes straight to the church.
Funny how that's a thing that people take from the Bible, but they never take the whole after 10 years if the debt's not paid back, it goes back to zero. How come that's not a thing? But we're going to do the tithing. Okay, well, picking and choosing like it's a Chinese menu.
Honestly. So some of the sort of more harmful tenets of this particular cult that they call the message are things like women. There's lots of like rules around kind of like modesty with women. So like there's sort of like long shocker. Do you know what I mean? Long skirts, long sleeves, no plaits, no hair cutting, no makeup.
Yep.
Also, I wasn't raised around music, so there was no music in the house, no pop music, no
news,
no secular anything. So it was classical music or religious music. And I had like an old like Disney record, so there was like a couple of a musical was like vaguely like fine to listen to, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And then all the boys have to have like a particular haircut. It's short back and side parting. Like if you get to once boys get to a certain age, we're not allowed to wear shorts because shorts are sexy, I suppose. I don't know. Don't want to be a sexy tween. Do you know what I mean? Basically, they just like over sexualize everything, and it's really wacky.
Yeah.
But like the guy, this William Branham guy, this racist chap, they kind of retconned it like as they kind of got further down the line, because they realised that they could sort of like go on what they call missionaries out to Africa and stuff, and like rope in more people. So they were like, maybe we should sort of like ditch the racist stuff just because like we can make more. We need more people, and we can make more money if we're not racist. So it was one of them. But yeah, it was an absolute shit show. And of course they don't like being a member of the LGBT community is like absolutely out of the question.
Oh my god, no!
Kind of stuff. So
repent.
Exactly. So that was a particularly difficult period.
That was a no-no.
That was a no-no. Although I'm rather proud of the fact that like my parents were the first people I told, because I was like, you know what, let's rip this plaster off and just get the difficult bit out of the way first.
Let's see if they disown me.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, no, they didn't disown me actually. Like we didn't speak for quite a few months, but I timed it, my coming out with them.
An adventure?
Well, no, I'd already got into uni. I knew that I was moving down on a particular day, and I knew that my brother was taking me down to like drop me off at Halls.
Yeah.
So 2 days prior to that, I sort of like I drafted a letter that I was going to write to my parents, being like, "Hi, you may have noticed that I've been a bit distant this last like few years. It's because I'm a faggot or whatever." Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm allowed to say that.
Yes. I'm only a demi-gay, so I'm not allowed to.
Damn. So I sent. So my brother. That's how I came out to my brother by showing him the letter that I drafted to my parents, and he was like, "Oh my god, wow, okay, cool, great, let's go." He was like super chill about it.
That's chill, because I can also go.
I kind of knew he would be, because he'd already left as well, and he was kind of like.
He's seen the real world.
So I was so lucky to be able to see my brothers kind of like leave it and operate in the real world kind of thing. Yes. And I was like, okay, cool. So I could do that potentially. Yeah. So that was great. So my brother dropped me off in London, and I sent him back with the letter. So I made sure that I was really far away from my parents when it happened. I was like, I don't want to be in the same room as all that stuff, because they're incredibly dramatic, especially my mum. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that's
golly.
Yeah, so we didn't speak for a couple of months, and then just spent my 20s unpicking all the
dissecting it all.
The religious programming, the shame, all that business.
Oh my god, wait, I'm allowed to be myself, and I don't have to hit myself for it.
Yeah.
That's a shocker. That's you know what? That's gonna take a while.
Yeah.
But when did you realise that you like weren't straight? Like, was it something that you just...
I think it's something that just is not like... when was the first time you thought of anything to do with sex? It's kind of that. Do you know what I mean? It's like...
Fair.
Do you know what I mean? It's literally that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think for me, it was like whenever that like gene kicks in for like sexy times, that was it.
Pre-puberty.
Yeah, like when would that be? Like 6, 7? Do you know what I mean? Like...
Yeah, it varies for different people.
It varies, doesn't it? Like,
yeah. My thing was I was like... I don't think I'm into anybody. I'm an
amoeba.
I have phases like that. I'm like, I'm a strawberry. I'm asexual, and I think I am. But I I don't like labeling all things, but I remember being younger and finding the label and then going, oh shit, okay, there's a thing for it. And that was literally demisexual, and I was like, what? Demisexual, yeah. Basically, it means that.
Doesn't demi mean half?
Half, yeah. That's why I call myself a demi-gay, and then people go, I'm a demisexual, so, and I'm like, so am I, so shut up. Anyway, the demisexuality is like, so basically, like, it's the hottest person in the world could sit down in front of me, and I don't get any of the tinglies. I don't care. It has to be them as a person.
Right. Okay.
So
so it's nothing to do with the visual or anything. It's
visual obviously helps when you get to know someone.
Right.
Like
right.
you can definitely look. I can definitely look at someone and go, oh, I have a type, or like this, that, and the other. But because I realize like it's different as well because of the parasocial things. Like you can fall in love.
Remind me what parasocial means?
Parasocial is like the relationship from, say, watching a media star, because they do interviews and you get information about them. Okay. So like if they're doing interviews, if they're releasing content, if they create things, so you feel like you know them.
No.
So it's like a fake relationship. Yeah. So I would have like the parasocial thing that would like make me attracted to them then, because I felt like I knew them. Okay. Big example right now is Pedro Pascal.
Oh, Pedro Pascal. Why is everyone obsessed with him at the moment?
He is a man written by women.
What? He actually is, isn't he? He's very much like a straight lady's like...
Wet dream.
Wet dream, yeah.
Yeah, because he's nice and he's funny. Yeah. And he's attractive and he's got a mustache, so I'm there. Yeah. But yeah, so basically...
And he's not so hot that it's like a bit weird. You know, some people that look like they've been designed by in like a computer program.
That's not hot to me anymore. Yeah, like I dated a few models in my life. Yeah. And I was like, Jesus, it's actually kind of dull.
They're lazy.
Yeah, I'm like, congrats, your gene pool is phenomenal. But like, I really don't. It doesn't tickle my fancy, to be honest.
It doesn't wet my whistle.
Yeah, so for me, it's like I have to get to know somebody, which then led me into the whole like, oh crap, I'm not straight actually. Because it was like, I think the first time I ever slept with someone was actually a girl. Right. I had a massive crush on her my whole life. Yeah. I thought she was just bestie vibes, but actually it was a bit more than that. And then dating guys and dating girls and dating anybody who I found a connection with, essentially.
I've never had sex with a girl before. I think my old flatmate when I was a kid, we used to like have threesomes with boys, but like we never kind of like got it together, her and I think she had a bit of a thing for me, but obviously it was one of those things where like obviously it was just impossible. It's like the bird and the fish fall in love, but where do they make their nest? You know what I mean? It was one of them. It's kind of like,
because that's I'm baffled by people who are either gay or straight, because I'm like, what do you mean you don't like some of this or some of this? I'm like, what? Yeah. So whenever I discovered that, I was like, that's also very confusing, because it's like, I don't know, like if they're funny and then they're hot and they're a nice person. Yeah.
I've realized that my type is people that sit right in the middle of the gender binary, I think. So like I find people attractive when they're right in the middle of like male and female. And I don't, do you know what I mean? I'm sort of like, but it has to be all in one pack, like all in a oneer. Do you know what I mean? I'm not kind of like, sometimes I like guys, sometimes I like girls. It's like, nah. Give me the middle.
I like the muddy water.
The muddy waters.
I love the whole because people get so up in arms about things that aren't like that big of a deal. Yeah. Right? We've seen it, like obviously when this comes out, this will be old news and stuff, but like the whole Sam Smith thing and things like that. It's like, why do you care?
Yeah. It's there's a lot of hatred out there, isn't there? And it's so aggressive. And like that might not be to your taste or whatever, but also like let them like do what they do. It's fine. I think the thing about with Sam Smith is I think they might be kind of sort of abandoning their fan base a little bit, because they were very much kind of like the preserve of kind of like grands and aunties and whatnot in the sort of like suburbs, weren't they? They were kind of like they were sort of like the quote unquote male Adele. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Very like easy listening, kind of power ballady type stuff, and now it's like full blown like dance pop, nipple tassels, arse out. Which I'm here for, but it's like quite the U-turn, just in terms of business. Thinking about it in a business sense.
Yeah, if you didn't watch,
you know what I mean?
If you didn't watch The Journey, you blink and then it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. It's but like such
it's made sense if you've seen the whole thing. Yeah. But I suppose if you're just like somebody's nan who only sees the things when they're massive.
Yeah.
Then it's like, hey, what the
is going on?
Yeah.
And also, if you kind of came to Sam at a point when they were just doing like suits and like jeans and t-shirts and just doing all that kind of business, because it just seemed to be like quite like a hard left. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But I love it though.
No, it's great.
I just think people get upset over nothing. It's like somebody's just doing what they want to do.
Yeah, for sure.
And also nothing's that groundbreaking. Like you go back to Bowie, you go back to Madonna, you go back all the way back. All these things have been done.
We've been around
and
for
then
millennia.
It's like, dude, you're falling for it.
We've been here for millennia.
Yeah, and it's like, it's not that deep, bro.
I saw like a TikTok the other day which was talking about like, you know how everyone's like, oh, but guys are getting so feminine. The right, I mean, people are kind of going, guys are getting so feminine. Why are they wearing all these like
that's been hundreds of years of this.
Yeah, all this business. But then like then they showed like so they showed like pictures
the newspaper
of like
clips.
Well, they showed clippings of like people like artists from the 70s, like Bowie, like Earth, Wind and Fire, like letting like literally look like absolute homos, like in fucking tight sequin, sparkly.
Did you ever see that duet? Was it Bowie and the guy from who's that other rock band? Rick. Rolling Stones. That duet. What is it? Mick Jagger and Bowie's Dancing in the Street.
Oh yeah.
The most homoerotic song ever.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like,
why not? Because that used to be hot, and now it's what, gross all of a sudden?
I don't know. But also, I always find it really funny because there was a collection, I seen it online, a collection of newspaper snippings from literally like the 1850s or whatever. That every single like say 20 years or whatever, they documented it where it was like, why are men getting so feminine? Why are men getting so feminine? And it's been every single
every 20 years.
Every so often, it's the same bloody story, the same thing. Post-war, it was like, men are soft now, and it's like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, there's lots of sort of like socio-political factors, aren't there? Like in times of hardship, people tend to go quite conservative.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? And I think because
they get angry at the wrong people.
Yeah, they're just everyone's looking for someone to blame for like everything going wrong.
People are angry. And they have so much oppressed anger that they point it in the wrong direction constantly. Because it's like, we're in a cost of living crisis. I hate people who identify as they.
Yeah, like, who are literally
the world is on fire.
Who are literally, the world is literally on fire. And you're worried about like a tiny subsection of a marginalised community.
Because it's a scapegoat. Because it's like, don't be angry at the right people.
Yeah.
Be angry at these guys. Look at them go.
Because obviously like trans folk, obviously LGBT folk are here.
Yes.
I'm showing my like I'm doing the big fish, little fish cardboard box sign. So like LGBT community. So this is the straight community.
Yeah.
This is the LGBT community. This is the trans community.
Yup.
This is the trans femme community. This is the trans femme community that are in like prisons. Yeah. Which is probably about 5 people, if that. Yeah. In the UK.
Don't even. Because I had this conversation with someone the other day where
it's what's your beef?
Yeah.
Sorry,
somebody brought up about something that happened in a prison. I think a trans woman assaulted somebody in a prison, whatever. And I was like, yeah. But guess
she's in
what?
prison.
But not even that. I was like, how rare of an occurrence does that have to be that has made the news?
Do you know what I mean?
Because how many R-words events are happening in prisons all the time? They're not making the news.
No.
But this is so rare. Yeah. It's made the news.
And also, she's in prison. She's probably like beats people up for like a living.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Honestly, it's like, come on.
Someone gets beaten up in prison. That's not news.
Shocker.
You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. So it's so sad to watch because it's like anytime I always explain these things to people, because I have this thing where I end up in these weird scenarios with like rich white men. Yeah. And then like sometimes these topics get brought up. So I play the ditzy blonde because I'm like, because I'm not affected by a lot of the issues personally. Yeah. Because I'm on the outskirts. I look so straight, no one even thinks about it. So I'm like, okay, win more flies with honey than you do vinegar, which is a privileged position that I can be in.
Flies with vinegar? What? Honey? What?
So you win more flies with honey than you do vinegar.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah, you do.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, I see.
So I always just go in and go, oh, you need it. And I explain it in such a like a happy-go-lucky way. And I tend to always win them over at the end. They always go, you know what?
That's actually a really good way of thinking about it, actually, because I think sometimes, like, if you go in guns blazing, that kind of pushes people further into their, like, the thing that they're thinking.
I'm saying it's a privileged position because it's like, I haven't had people coming at me for these issues because I'm the affected party.
But that's lovely of you to explain it to them if you've done that before. That's really cool.
I do it all the time.
Yeah, man.
Because like I remember the trans issue of gender reaffirming surgery.
Yeah.
That came up And
Oh my God.
they were basically just kind of saying like, I just don't think it's a necessary blah 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 blah. This whole
Yeah, but how
thing.
do you know? You don't. You've never experienced it.
But
So
this
how would you know
was
if it's necessary
they
or
were
not?
there for me, this person, because it was like my like ex-partner's parents, whatever, blah blah blah, rich, white, blah. Anyway, and they went on their wee rant.
Yeah.
Because I let them go.
Okay.
Right, and then I'm like, well, I just, la 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 la. But you were so kind to me whenever I went through my gender reaffirming surgery. I just don't understand why. And I went on this thing, and they were like, "You want gender reaffirming surgery?" And I went, "When I had my breast augmentation."
Yes, Janet, you
so
clever
nice.
little so and so. That's the way to do it.
Yes. So I do it.
To illustrate what gender reaffirming surgery, so like a breast implant is gender affirming surgery. Hair.
It is.
Bish bash bosh.
And they were so nice to me during that whole
And
period
it
of
made
time.
you feel better. It made you feel like you could move through the world in a more confident
feminine.
way. You felt more like yourself. And it made you improve your life. So, what's your beef?
Exactly. Because I was like, how can you be supportive of me, but
Boom.
someone else you're not being? Don't get it.
Clever
Don't
clogs.
understand.
Clever clogs.
So
I like
I have-
it. You should work for MI6 with that kind of lateral thinking. I like it.
Dude, I do it all the time because it's just I play debts. I
Yeah.
play complete debts because it happened as well with somebody else, and they were talking about Lord of the Rings, and I was so woke that there was a fucking black hobbit or something, and I was like, basically in the nicest way possible, being like, I don't know, I think there's a lot of things in that show that don't really particularly add up, and I don't think the farthest cry from reality would be a black hobbit, considering hobbits aren't real anyway,
You know what I
and the
mean?
whole world is fake, so there are no rules. La 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 la. And I was like, also the book like was literally written for just men, by a man, for men. There's like four women in it, and only one of them we know anything about.
Yeah.
Like, so I think it needs to open up a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I basically said to them whenever they did that, the nice way I did it was like, oh, but you don't seem mad about all the elves and all the women that are in it, but they weren't in the original, so why aren't you mad about that?
Yes, because people hate.
People love hating.
People are racist and sexist and
Homophobic and
homophobic and transphobic. It just seems to be the thing.
But
It's very trendy. Thanks,
so,
J.K.
so on
Rowling.
trend. Oh, dude, don't. Oh, that one always comes up.
Getting pissed in a mansion in Scotland, like tweeting.
I just don't understand.
Absolute
I think
nut
for
job.
me, it's like, I always say, like, I want to lead with love. Always.
Yeah.
I want to always understand, and I want to hear people out, and I want to lead with love. So when it comes to the J.K.
So many
Rowling
people
stuff,
don't, do they?
They don't, and it's like it's.
And
just
you're
really
harming
sad.
yourself by not
It's just
leading with love. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think by like having so many weird prejudices against different groups of people, just kind of leaves you living in this weird echo chamber.
And they're such arbitrary like prejudices as well, and also like they're prejudices that are literally not affecting
You.
her at all,
No.
or them at all. That those kind of people. Do you know what I mean? There's like it goes down to that like tiny percentage of a tiny percentage of a tiny
Oh my
percentage
God,
of the
Dom.
population. It's like, what are you doing?
Why?
Like, why are you making such a fuss about literally people that are literally like, hi, could we have access to healthcare, please? Because we're about to kill ourselves, or like we're literally dying. Do you know what I mean?
Honestly,
It's a
takes
real shame.
leaps and bounds. But it's that thing I always point out, like New York City is the best example of like, there always has to be a scapegoat that people are angry about. So like, if it wasn't the Italians, it was the Irish. If it wasn't the Irish, it was the blacks. And it blah 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 blah. And throughout the it's always been someone. And now, unfortunately, it seems to be the trans community.
Yeah, yeah.
And drag queens.
And drag queens.
Of all fucking things, though, drag queens.
I know all that stuff about like drag queens are grooming children. Drag queens hate children.
Yeah.
Like, drag queens
Generally speaking.
drag queens don't
But
give a fuck
also,
about
right,
children.
they're like, oh, the drag queens they're touching the kids. I was like, okay, wait. How long are we second? One, where are you getting your research from? Secondly, how are you okay?
Also, why would you get dragged to touch a kid? Like,
Oh
talk about
God,
effort.
they're sticky and gross.
Do you know what I mean?
It's like, I'm sorry. So you're telling me you take your child to Sunday school to a priest?
Yeah.
They have a very long history of
Yeah,
touching
yeah,
kids,
yeah.
but then you can't take your kid to a drag brunch because
Who
they're going
have
to touch
no
kids
history of
who
touching
have.
kids.
Yeah,
There's literally zero.
please explain the math. Do you know what? I just want to understand.
I don't think there's probably not even like anything on record where like a drag queen has like touched a kid, and it's just literally some like random like
It's
issue
just
that's
they've
been
made it up.
bought out. It's literally just been pulled out of thin air.
It's been pulled out of backsides, and it
Yeah.
literally is just. It makes no sense.
It's the
because-
encroaching fascism for me. I'm just so excited to be living in this like dystopia. Maybe we're going to be living in like a cool sci-fi dystopia at some point. Everything's just going to be rubble, and we can like go around bounty hunting.
I'm living
with
in this
laser
weird fear
guns.
that there's going to be an atomic bomb that goes off.
Oh God. God. Oh, we'll all turn into like SpongeBob. It'll be like Bikini Bottom.
Well, I was doing the math. If the bomb went off in London,
yeah. Oh God,
how screwed am I?
How would Hertford fare? Do we know? Have you done the maths?
So if I was here at the office in Hartford, right?
Yeah.
We're 0.1 mile out. Okay. 20 mile, you're still in the. Basically, we're all fucked because once it goes off,
I'd be like,
yeah,
Ash.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, you're screwed.
Yeah, I'm out.
Saws, but basically because of the way it goes, then all of the local petrol stations and stuff kind of go up in flames. So everybody would just go up in flames. And if you somehow survive the burns, bear in mind.
Would you get burnt here?
Yeah.
Wow. If it was dropped where though? Did you get a compass out?
I just went like Big Ben.
Right. Yeah.
So if that's where it went off, yeah. Because if it goes off, literally like a second later, the glass. So that's going to come in flying like straight at you.
I love this.
If somehow you didn't,
thought experiment.
Yeah. If somehow you didn't get hit by the glass, then you're going to get hit by the flames. And then if you do survive the flames, then you got to somehow keep the wounds clear from infection. Otherwise, you're going to die. So most people would literally die from wound infections.
Crikey.
Yeah, because there's not enough.
You just have to start hiking further away from where the bomb went off, wouldn't you? Basically.
Yeah, but also there's
Hope the car would survive. Maybe not.
So
the cars would probably blow up because they're full of petrol.
They're gonna So also whenever it goes off, the white light is blinding. So.
Right.
You're going to be blind too. But if somehow you survive that, you need to get underground. Great. So,
Are you a doomsday prepper? Do you identify as a doomsday prepper?
I don't let myself because I would.
If you had the budget, would you like make a bunker?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Oh my God, absolutely.
Tiff, my partner who's sat over there,
hi,
very quietly, hi Tiff. Tiff is a doomsday. I would say you're kind of a doomsday prepper, only because in the bottom of Tiff's wardrobe is a box about the size of that sofa you're sat on, full of rice, just in case there's a food shortage.
I love it.
Gotta be prepared. Gotta be prepared. Tiff's like, look, yes. Do you know what Tiff was like? Tiff was like, told you so when the pandemic hit. And you know when all the supermarkets.
You've been waiting your whole life for that.
Yeah, literally.
Waiting forever to go.
Literally.
Yeah.
So we were all queuing outside supermarkets and Tiff's happily at home like boiling rice.
Amazing. Well, my thing is like I always have loads of water.
Loads of water, okay.
Lots of bottles of water, which I know are not good for the environment.
Is that just in case?
Well, yeah, probably. There's like a part of me that's like, well... But also I like sparkly water. Okay. And there's always this thing that happens in the summer because we're living, London vibes. Everybody loves when the sun comes out. Yeah. The Soda Stream gas canisters, gone. Everybody wants a gin and tonic and they're gone. So then, I'm left there with no gas. So I always have backup sparkly water.
Very clever.
Yeah.
My it's not really doomsday prepping, but like I went through this phase of whenever I was in like in a new apartment or whatever, like I would kind of not have kind of almost keep everything in boxes, so I knew exactly that I could like do a runner if I needed to, like in at any given moment.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So like I have like a system, so in my head I'd be like, right, if I need to like leg it, I know that bag there, I can just take all the clothes off the rail, they go in there, that box can just pull out of the cupboard. Do you know what I mean? That kind of energy.
Well, I'm always
so that's my
prepared to
doomsday
move.
prepping.
I'm always prepared to move. Yeah. I don't personalize.
Always ready for being evicted.
Yeah, literally. Because in like 13 years or something, I've moved like 15 times, 16 times. Yeah. So it's been pretty crazy. So I'm just so used to having to just like pack a case and go. Yeah. So like everything's so minimal. Yeah. Like everyone thinks I'm like a minimalist because of like how little stuff I have. Yeah. And I'm like, it's actually not really. I don't think so.
Just a doomsday prepper.
Oh yeah. I think for me though, I always have this thing where it's like, right, if your house, right, burnt up, you go back, blah, blah, blah. If you could save things, what would you save?
Nothing. I don't give a crap.
Find my people. Find my people.
I actually don't care.
Because like I'm in my head, I'm just like
my phone. I guess
as long as I have my phone,
purposes, but that's literally it. Like I don't give a fuck about anything. Burn it all.
Yeah. I don't
really.
Care. It's so.
I don't really attach. I don't really have emotional attachments to like objects.
I used to, and I made myself stop.
Yeah, me too, because it was too much. Because the reason I did that was because I kind of put too much emotional attachment to objects. So I had to sort of like retrain my brain to like not do it, and now I'm just the complete opposite.
I had to do before the Marie Kondo thing was a thing. Yeah. I remember being like, "Does this serve me?
Does it spark joy?"
And I literally give so much stuff away. Yeah. Even my book collection, I gave away. Yeah. And then what I would do was I lived right opposite a charity shop, so I would go in, pick up a book from the charity shop, read it, and then drop it back, give it back for free, and then pick up a new one. So I don't know, but I'm still so curious about the cult thing. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. So what would you like to know about it?
So was it like did you like live? It was like commune vibes, or was it like just community vibes, or like
community?
What was it?
So we operated in like, I went to a normal school, but like we didn't socialize with anyone outside of it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, so you kind of like, ostracized yourself.
So I saw. So I'd be kind of like, because my world outside of school was very much the like church cult people. So I'd kind of like bowl into school, kind of being like, yeah, so apparently the world's going to end on like this date.
Oh, did you have a doomsday date?
And if you have I think it kept getting moved though, of course. Initially it was like 1977, and then it just kept like moving by like 10-year increments, like every like decade or so. So I'd like be bowling in school and being like, if you have a TV, you're going to hell, and all this, and people like all these kids would be like, what's hell, and who the hell is Brother Branham, like things like this, because like the prophet was called like William Branham, we refer to him as Brother Branham. But yeah, it was so I saw.
You've seen the real world.
I saw the real world,
but
but
you never
I wasn't able
interacted.
to participate in it.
Yeah, that's fair. Because even in Ireland, like we had like there was kids at our school. Because like I was like super Catholic. Like we would like get on our knees and then at night and like say like a decade of the rosary, like facing the wall. Yeah. You know, like so me and my brothers and my parents, like nobody looking at each other, everybody saying the rosary. Weird, but anyway. But then there was other kids, because I thought we were Catholic, and then there was other people being like, on Sundays we are not allowed to have the TV on. You're not allowed. The only place we're allowed to drive is to the chapel and then back.
Self-flagellating.
Yeah, the whole like Sunday was like no such thing as work or anything at all.
Christianity can get real creepy, can't it? Dude. It can get super creepy.
But my problem was I took everything literally. I'm a very literal person.
So you were like, I'm literally eating Jesus' like body.
That one I was a bit like, yeah, a bit. And then I took everything really, really serious. Like, so the whole like not being able to like love your skin suit. You're like not. I remember being a kid and like getting out of the shower and not looking down because I was like, oh my god, I would get, I would be in trouble.
Was masturbation off the menu?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I didn't even know what it was.
I don't think we even talked about that sort of thing in our one. Maybe we did. I don't know. It wasn't ever really brought up. That's not the thing that was brought up. But think about this, yeah. So you know, transubstantiation. You know, when like the sacrament turns to like Jesus' flesh and blood, like in your body. If you think about it, you know, there's like communion wafers, which are essentially a carb.
Yeah.
Given that it's transubstantiating in your throat or wherever it turns into meat, it's actually keto. Do you know what I mean? So you could actually take Holy Communion if you're on Atkins. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Really?
I always remember laughing though as a kid, just being like, we were, because we were Catholic, like it wasn't, there's no wine. Some places did, but our chapel didn't.
No what?
No wine.
Oh, wine.
Only the priest got the wine.
What was it, like Brabina?
No, we just didn't do that.
Oh,
we just got the body.
The wine.
We just got the body. And
just the body.
The priest did the wine stuff.
Interesting.
I remember going to a mass whenever I got sober, and it was a wine church.
Oh damn!
And it was like I went up for the wafer, and then I was like, I'm a pass.
I'll take the bottle.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much.
That is swerve the glass, reach around and grab the bottle.
Dude, it was so funny that it was like, of course. Like I don't really go to wine chapels, and then of course I'm in a wine chapel whenever I'm in recovery.
Our Holy Communion was really wacky. We had a ceremony called it was called communion and foot washing. So like we had to like wash each other's feet.
But I thought that in the Bible was just a big metaphor for like.
I mean, but like, there was coming back to the literal thing, doesn't it? I think people can get a bit literal.
People do. They do get
so we did like this sort of like Mary Magdalene like
Wait, did
tribute.
you have to touch someone's feet?
Yeah, it was fucking gross.
Do you think there's many people in your church that have a foot fetish because of that?
I've no clue. I fucking hope not. That's so gross.
Sorry, to make it even grosser.
Yeah, because you'd end up being because obviously like the men and the women were put in separate rooms.
Of course.
And then we would have to like. So I'd be there with like washing some like rank fungal infection. Old man foot.
Get away.
Hairy toes.
No.
No. And I've always been fairly squeamish. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm quite prim.
So yeah, like, you're like, that's what I like.
Even as like an 8-year-old, I was like, ew. And then we also had to do like full immersion baptisms as well. So like, but there was no like building.
At like any age, or like what's the crack? What's the age?
Oh god. So basically, like there was this whole narrative of kind of like the Lord will reveal Himself to you, and that's when you know you're saved, and that's when you can get baptized. And I'd be like, so I was sort of like, what's a revelation moment look like? Is He going to come down from heaven? Is there going to be like Disney magic, sparkly Tinkerbell stuff going on? Like, what's it going to look like? But obviously, it's like not a thing. Cause it's like literally, it's like absolute fantastical like nonsense. But obviously at some point I was kind of like, a few of my other pals had like got baptised, and I was just like, yeah, I'll get baptised then.
It's time.
And they just dunked me in a big tank. They dunked me into a big tank. Well, Mum sent me my baptism photos a couple of years ago, actually, which was interesting.
What age were you?
About 8 or 9-ish, I would say.
When you get dunked.
Yeah, got dunked. Slam dunked the funk.
Because that always confused me, because as a Catholic, it's like you get
it's like a little spritz, isn't it?
Just
like
as
a christening.
Baby. Yeah, that's what we had. Yeah, christening. Yeah.
Their whole idea, the whole thing was like you're supposed to be sort of like sentient enough to be able to choose whether or not you accept the Lord into your life or whatever.
Did you do what the Mormons did, where you like turn people after they're dead?
Wait, what? What do they do?
Basically, they like baptize people in the Mormon church after they've passed.
They baptize corpses?
No, so that's what I thought, and that's why I was like, what?
Yeah.
No, it turns out basically that they get like a list of like, just say like their local graveyard, I don't know, and then they just go through it and they rebaptize people in the Latter-day Saints.
What, just randos that aren't even Mormons?
Yeah.
What, they just randomly select people and they're like, right, we're doing this section of the cemetery today?
From what I've gathered, obviously there's probably like a bit more to it, but it wasn't like they were doing corpses, but it just seemed to be random.
Doing corpses.
Hopefully not.
What do they do? Sprinkle like holy water on the gravestones or something?
No, I think it's all done in their big private building.
Have you seen Book of Mormon?
Yes.
It's quite funny, isn't it?
I have, yeah.
It's quite funny. It's very South Parky.
But it was a guy I got on really well with. Literally the only reason me and this person broke up was because they drank too much. Really sad.
What, the Mormon did?
Yeah. Well, he was kind of like post-Mormon.
Well, that's probably why, because all the people...
They go hardcore.
Hardcore. The amount of... That's why I was so mental as soon as I came out. I wasn't able to sort of like do anything.
Yeah.
Because my life had been so like... Everything was like so restricted and like... orderly and sort of like there was so many rules and regulations around everything.
It's like the further you pull it back, the further it's gonna go.
As soon as I was like out and about myself, you better believe I was sniffing everything, popping everything.
Yeah,
good grief, you barely got a thing done at uni.
Kind of person that's like, you take the pill and go, what was
that? Literally, yeah. And I also like I almost got thrown off my course in the second year, and I had to sort of like, at the time I thought I was making up I basically had to go in and see the dean or whoever it was and be like, oh yeah, I'd tell a big sob story about like, I'm having loads of difficulties in my life and my family, which at the time I thought was I'd made up, but actually thinking about it, it's actually kind of real. Yeah. But I was like, oh god, I've got to make up a lie to like pretend I'm like all messed up.
And then you're just accidentally trauma dumping.
Yeah, literally, like years later, I'm like, I know you were really messed up, but you just didn't realise because you were stupid.
My excuse was real.
Yeah, it was real.
Oops.
Yeah, it's taken a minute to disentangle myself from it all. Like I was saying to Tiff, my partner, who's over there, that it was all through my 20s. I was still very much in that. Because they create a reality for you. It was my entire life was that reality. Do you know what I mean?
Shedding it like layers, though.
And it was almost like my leaving was almost like an unconscious thing. I just had this sense that something was wrong, and I didn't know what it was, and I couldn't put my finger on it. I didn't really have words for it. It was just this immense sense of like foreboding, just this like ceaseless like dread. And I didn't know what it was. But really, if you think about it, it's all the like hellfire and brimstone rhetoric. It's all the like awful things they say about LGBT people, women.
Oh my god, everything.
Do you know what I mean? Everything, like the whole thing.
Do you exist? Sin.
Literally, like it's just horrible. It's really horrible. And of course, the people that join these things are all incredibly like fucked up people. Do you know what I mean? So like I was raised by absolute lunatics. Do you know what I mean?
Happens though? Because it's like I seen myself do it once where I got in like a bit. This is before I knew I had personality disorder and stuff. I remember one summer going head first back into Catholicism.
Yeah.
Like I was living in London in a warehouse with like loads of everybody.
What, you just going to mass on Sundays?
And then I would go to mass.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know what though, Janet? I think like if you're raised in that like environment,
there was like a homely feeling.
There's always going to be a connection to it, isn't there?
Yeah,
like I still feel it today as well.
Yeah, I think I get the nice things out of it now because I've dismantled it so much that like now I can go to a church and it kind of just feels like my meditation time. Yeah. Because it's all just like the same old prayers, the same old thing, but it's like an environment to not be plugged into anything.
Yeah.
And just be in a communal space with people, and I like that. And I like that it doesn't hold any power over me anymore, which is nice.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's like a freeing thing then that you can go, yeah, I want a little bit of that. Definitely. But at the time, though, I was in a full meltdown crisis and was just trying to give myself some purpose in something. Yeah. But it served me. And then I walked out and went, babes, bestie, it's time to fix this. Yeah. And
have you been back since? Like
I go whenever I go home.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but I'm not getting up on a Saturday now and going to mass.
No, I wouldn't go to my one when I would never go back to my one. It's a bit different to like a church, though. I think.
That is, that's.
Well, it's literally not a church. They do meet in like community centres. They don't really have like a building. I mean, went to America actually to like visit the churches because there's out there because they're like that's where it was like founded. So we did like a little Midwest tour and went around a few of the churches there, which are a bit more organised than the ones here.
Ooh.
But yes, it's a funny old business.
So where do you stand with all of it? Do you?
I think it's awful.
Well, no, I mean like as in faith-based. It's like, do you believe in anything?
No.
You're just ground zero, just chilling.
I think everything is chaos. I think we're all dust. I don't.
Yeah.
I think everything is chaos, and I find that quite soothing.
You're a little speck. On a spinny rock.
On a spinny rock, nothing matters. That's kind of where I'm at. And when you die, you die.
You die. For me, I think I like taking things from everything in the sense of like, I don't believe that any God doesn't exist or anything doesn't exist. Like even like astrology, I'm like, could be true.
Yeah.
It's fun little tidbits and everything.
Could be.
And like doing tarot and stuff like that.
I like data though.
Yeah. No, I get you. I think it's just like, for me personally, I believe in like something with a capital S.
Okay, cool.
Because like I have to, because I'm in recovery.
Right.
So I can't be the center of the universe anymore, because that didn't go too well.
Well, I find the most soothing thing not being the center of the universe. I like the fact that it's just we're just kind of like a part of something like huge and bonkers.
Well, because I've accepted that, like, I could literally just be dust, and when this is over, it's done.
But to your point about like you take, you said about you sort of take from bits from it. Like I do take stuff from different kind of like spiritual practices. Yeah. But I think about them slightly differently to what other people think about them in a way.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So for example, with like witchcraft and Wicca and stuff like that. I've called the corners. Do you know what I mean? I can light a candle and call the corners out. Do you know what I mean? And do a little spell.
I'm gonna light some sage.
Do you know what I mean? Like smudge stick the hell out of something.
Yes.
Or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But for me, like, whereas like a hard line like Wiccan would be like, yes, I'm literally calling the literal corners of the literal whatever.
Yes.
And this candle is literally like the soul of whatever. For me, it's more of like a way to sort of like focus one's thoughts. Meditation.
Yes. That's a big example.
That's exactly what you said.
Some people do it for spiritual reasons, and then some people use meditation to calm their brain.
And it's also kind of like thought focusing as well. I remember with my ex, like he was like a bit witchy, and we would use like spells to sort of like or ceremonies in order to sort of focus our thoughts onto things that like might need fixing or kind of like things manifesting.
Because like whenever if it's like, okay, the moon's in blah blah blah, you know, Marie Curie's in retrograde, I don't know, like this thing, it's like now you have to write a list of things you want to manifest and then burn it, right?
Yeah.
Those kinds of things I like, because if you have to write down a list of things that you want, you have to look in to find out what you want, to then write it down, and then you're making it a thing. So whether or not like manifestation or any of that kind of stuff is real, it's still fun because it shows you what you want. And the thing I like about, say, tarot cards, because people are always like, oh, that's a pile of nonsense. I'm like, but it's like tossing a coin.
Yeah, and it's thought guiding. Yeah. It helps you guide thoughts. And you're like, oh, I'm able to lock onto that and discuss that now.
Yeah. Oh, the card says this. Oh, I don't want it to. Oh, but then now you know what you don't want.
Yes, exactly.
So it's like, it's all helps you find your way.
Yeah.
And I like that kind of stuff.
And it helps with like clear thought and intention, doesn't it? There's something like very intentional about kind of being like, we're doing a ceremony now because we'd want to discuss this thing and discuss our life or whatever. Do you know what I mean? And it helps you to sort of like actually do it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I like
because it's like a formal setting for it. Do you know what I mean?
I love a little bit of ooga booga.
Ooga booga.
I do. I love it. Like, do I think half of it's real? No, but I think it's fun. Let me just have a fun little girly witchy time. Yeah. Okay. Let me write your name on a piece of paper, put it in the fridge. I don't know. Like, it makes me. Oh, have you never done that one? It's really good.
I've not done the fridge one.
Oh, it's actually the freezer. So basically, like, if somebody is like not leaving you alone and you just want rid of them, you write their name on a piece of paper and you put it in the freezer.
Oh, crikey. My freezer's going to be really full when I get in.
Yeah, there you go.
Full of bits of paper. My flatmate's really be like,
why
are all your friends' names?
Why is my name in the freezer?
Yeah. Like, Janet, Devlin.
Yeah, please go away. In fairness, I'm so excited though with the next album stuff. Yes. I'm so excited to send you my mood board.
I cannot wait. Did you have fun on the shoot we did together?
Yes. Like, I have to. We did a photo shoot with Emma Jane Lewis, Lou on hair, and my name is blank to the makeup artist. And I'm so sorry because I've only worked with her once, but she was amazing.
She was great.
unbelievable. Skin work, fantabulous.
Yeah.
And we were just doing let's feel it out, see what happens. There was no real like.
How did you find the experience? Like, was it what you did you? Is it what you expected in terms of like what I brought to the table?
I loved it. Yeah, because it's like I don't know how to dress.
I disagree, but okay.
I just like things, and then I put them on. You know what I mean? But like having someone who has like a better understanding of like textures, colors, patterns, things, and like how it gets picked up on camera. Yeah. It's a skill, and it's a skill that I do not have.
Right.
So seeing
a few more shoots though, and you will. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Probably.
But like.
Because you're not always going to have access to a stylist. You might need to, do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. But it's also a thing of like, I dress myself every day. It's kind of fun to just be like, all right, I'm going to be a little Barbie doll. Dress me up.
Yeah.
What do you think I should wear?
Do you enjoy the process?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. I love all of that stuff.
Right.
Like, the photo shoots for me, because like I've kind of created this kind of team. It's always lovely.
Yeah.
You know, because I'd been on loads of toxic shoots when I was a teenager.
Sure, yeah.
So like now that I'm a grown up and I kind of technically run my own ship or whatever, it's like, I like you. I like you. I like you. Let's go have a little fun day.
Yeah. I can't wait for everyone to see the pictures.
Oh, dude. They're dropping. They're going to be dropping soon, actually, because we've got some things
the
coming
gag.
in. But it's
have you chosen the ones you like yet?
Yes and no.
Yes and no.
Yeah, I made a big list.
It's quite a lot.
And I just need a cult.
There's quite a lot to go through.
Yeah, but I loved so much of it.
Yeah, me too.
It was just like, it's just fun. It was just like seeing things elevated.
Yeah.
In a way that like I wouldn't do.
Well, that was kind of what I was trying to do with you, is sort of like take what you do and then sort of expand upon it.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? Kind of make it bigger.
Yeah, no, definitely. So it was fun because like I am aware that like with the whole like having had eating disorders and body dysmorphia and all this kind of stuff, that like I don't perceive myself the way that other people perceive me. So you did things that I was like, oh my God, I would never do that. Where it was like layering things.
Okay.
Because obviously when you have an eating disorder, you want to be as small as possible.
Of course,
you want to just be tinky, tiny. So then you being like, I'm going to put this big chunky thing and I'm going to put this big belt on it and blah, 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 layer. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, you still look fab.
The photos look amazing. Yeah. So it was nice to kind of come at that head on and be like, okay, well, you're uncomfy, but why are you uncomfortable? Like, what's making you uncomfortable about it? Oh. Okay.
Also, it's interesting, isn't it? Like, I think people who have like bodies that are like a bit bigger and a bit smaller, or possibly people that want to be perceived as being as thin as possible, they think that like wearing incredibly tight clothes is the way forward. But actually, like if you're like a slightly bigger boned or like curvy or whatever, wearing things that are oversized make you look smaller. Do you know what I mean? And it's the same with people who are skinny. Like if you're skinny and you wear something oversized, it makes you look even skinnier. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's kind of the opposite way around. Yes. Obviously, if you're doing a bodycon thing and you just want to show like the body, then like get some bodycon stuff on.
One of my favorite vibes is plus size women in bike shorts and baggy t-shirt.
Yeah,
that just chill vibe.
Yeah. It's cool, isn't it?
Ooh, I love it because it's like, especially so many of my friends who are plus size that are like, I spent my whole life being afraid of baggy clothes because I was told I needed to wear stripes and I needed to wear this and blah 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 blah. Yeah. And then they're just like, wear like a baggy Motorhead t-shirt and some like little bike shorts, and I'm like,
it's fab that we've got more like body positive like figures in the media now.
Thank God.
Do you know what I mean? It's really cool.
Because it was like 50 Shades of Beige.
It really was.
Oh my God, another skinny bitch.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
But it's nice to see like a few more people sort of like, and people who get being famous. Do you know what I mean? People like really people like Lizzo specifically, like really incredibly successful, award-winning like people.
Yeah, and then you've got loads of plus size models that are famous.
Exactly.
For what they do.
And people like Rihanna are kind of like doing really good work with her, like with Savage X Fenty, with like all the body diversity and stuff. Do you know what I mean? It's really cool.
It makes me happy because it's way more interesting when you see like a runway show.
Yeah.
And it's not just like another white.
Yeah,
skinny woman. Yeah. It's like, we've done it. It's been done.
We white folk, I think there's like has been historically like far less body positivity. There's been far less room in our world for kind of like
because of the Eurocentric.
Yeah, everything has got to be like bone thin.
Yeah, because if you're white and then you look at what the white beauty standard is,
it's literally like
it's stick thin. It's heroin chic.
Yeah, and it's kind of coming back a little bit at the moment as well, which is really awful.
There's a good pushback too, which I'm loving.
Yeah, it's like we're at sort of loggerheads, but that's what needs to happen though, isn't it?
Yeah,
like that push and pull.
Yeah, and like I was like, I love like being like on apps like TikTok and stuff, right? Because it does not know that I'm a white skinny bitch.
Yeah.
Like it thinks like I'm curvy, which I've said on this podcast before. But like the amount of people of color, the amount of different body types that I get, the amount of different fashions, this, that, and the other.
Gorgeous,
like, I love it. Yeah. Because what I love is somebody who spent so long hating themselves is seeing people unabashedly love themselves.
Yeah, it's really cool, isn't it?
It just, I don't know.
Do you love yourself now?
I would say I'm at a place of neutrality.
You've plateaued.
Yeah, that's what I was aiming for. Like, body positivity is great, but I think body neutrality is what I aim for.
All right, cool.
I don't want to feel anything about my body.
Yeah.
It's just there. It's just a meat suit. I'm a big soul in a tiny meat suit. You know,
big soul in a tiny meat suit.
It's how I feel. It's like I don't really want to love or hate something about my body. You know, it's just I want to be chill.
Yeah. No, neutrality is a really great ambition, actually.
Yeah, because it's like, because I'm at that thing where like I'll go up in weight, I'll go down in weight, I'll go up in weight, I'll go down in weight. So for me, feeling neutral about it is the safest thing for me. Especially like that I accidentally like mad triggered myself before Christmas. Oh, dude, because like my life was falling apart, and then I was on new meds and loads of all these things going on, and then my heart condition, I just like became
you got a bloody heart condition as well.
Undiagnosed in a minute.
Smorgasbord.
My heart's going all the time.
Like a mouse.
Yeah, so basically like I could be sitting on my phone burning calories. Like that's so I lost a bunch of weight accidentally. Wasn't thinking about it.
Oh no.
Right? And then whenever people started mentioning it, I was like, oh shit, I need to think about this. And then I kind of took an objective view of my body and then was like, ooh, all the awful old thoughts of like, oh, but you're skinny now.
Yeah.
Well, you can wear whatever you want.
Oh, they said they were concerned. Fab. One of them.
It's so toxic and awful. So like I had
it's
to
such bullshit, isn't it?
But best timing though. Right before Christmas.
Right before Crimbo. So you were able to like
I just ate everything.
Pack away some turkey.
Literally. But it is like a constant fight at the minute because like even though I'm eating flat out, it still doesn't matter. Like I'll lose or I'll gain. It doesn't. There's no whooming and whamming about it. But it's just like that's why I aim for like the neutral. Because my body changes so fucking much.
Okay.
I can't keep up with the love. But you know, I have always said do that thing with food, especially where it's like I eat to like nourish either my soul or my body.
Yeah.
I'm not, because I've been through phases of being strict with food, like almost orthorexia.
Yeah.
So for me, because I have an eating disorder, like or had or whatever you want to say about it, it's like, am I eating though?
Yeah.
I don't care. As long as I'm eating, I don't care what it is.
I think I eat for sort of like sport. If I basically eating is like almost like an entertainment, which is like not necessarily. Do you know what I mean? Like it's sort of like what flavor is this? Let's see. But like left to my own devices, I would eat nothing but like salt, fat, sugar. Like it's I'm really like I'm drawn to really, really high calorie like foods.
The dense.
Yeah, really calorie dense stuff.
So my issue, and it comes from my whole family. My nan was this way too, so I blame her. Love you, nan. R.I.P.
Rip.
My sweet tooth is ungodly.
Is it?
It's unbearable. Yeah. Like I could sack off every meal.
Is that because of restricting diet though?
Literally my whole childhood I just love sweets. Fair. My adulthood, because people think when you have anorexia they're like, oh, you must hate food, and it's like no, I love food, so I stop myself.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it wouldn't be a good self-harm.
Yeah, so it's like I see. Yeah.
Cutting yourself off from something that you love. And also my issue is like I'm an addict. And I didn't necessarily get addicted to being skinny. I got addicted to losing weight.
Oh, like sort of like project kind of.
Yeah, like every time the weight would go down, I was like, woo! Yeah. And then it lasts for 5 seconds and you go back to living grey until the next time you weigh yourself in. But yeah, because I'm an addict, I just get addicted. Yeah. But no, like sweets, I don't eat any sweets until like 8 o'clock at night. Yeah. And then I whip out like my Kinder Bueno and my little bag of gummy sweets. And I'm like, waiting all day for that.
I like
and a little Diet Coke. Okay. Oof. Caffeine free though, because
I get like hyperfixated on food. So like at the moment it's prawn mayo sandwiches.
Oh, I do the same.
So like I literally had like 2 months of like nothing but prawn mayo sandwiches.
Yeah. I do that with breakfasts.
Do you?
Yeah, where I'll be like, this is a cereal 6 months. This is a crumpet and spread 6 months.
Oh, that's really weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
I also came off the back of a crumpets and peanut butter like thing.
Have you ever tried Lotus bread?
What's Lotus bread?
The Lotus Beckies that you get with like a posh coffee.
Oh yeah.
That and a crumpet. I swear to God, I'm not kidding
Oh,
you.
what, the spread? The spread. I thought you said bread.
No. Crumpet.
The Lotus spread.
Lotus spread.
Do you know what? I've never tried it.
Do it.
But it isn't just like smooshed up biscuits.
Yeah, but it's amazing on a crumpet.
A carb medley.
It's
just biscuits on a carb.
Well, I always have this thing where it's like, if breakfast is my first meal of the day, I'm going to make it happy. I'm going to make it joyful. I just want to have a smile on my face while I'm stuffing that.
Did you ever have those those are big American breakfast when you're in the States? So there's like pancakey breakfast.
Yeah, we used to lose like 7 pounds before we go to America.
Oh my God. I love that you like plan it in. This is such like...
We all did, because it was like, we're getting out there, bacon donuts, American breakfast, snack, big pizzas, everything the works.
I remember going to Florida when I was a kid and like going to that IHOP place. And I got really overexcited by all the syrups.
Yes.
And just like was like, oh my God, so many nice colours.
Bacon and syrup?
Literally bacon and syrup. You better believe I was sick as soon as I got back to the hotel room. I was made myself so ill. I was like, oh, it was so delicious.
Yeah, I visit Cornwall quite a bit, and I do the same thing every time, because I don't really eat a lot of fatty foods. Yeah. Shocker. I just eat a lot of sweets. Anyway, so when I go down there and I'm like, fish and chips, and I gorge, and then I wonder why I feel so ill, because my body's not used to having that much fat.
It really it makes you really nauseous, doesn't it?
Yeah, I literally want to be sick. I'm like, why do I do this to myself every single time?
Yeah, it can make you really, really nauseous. I went to New Orleans for a wedding in 2019. Have you been to New Orleans?
No, I want to go so bad.
Incredible, Janet. You'd love it. Music in every bar, live music all around you. It's incredible. Birthplace of jazz. Like, there's so much going on there. But the food is really good. Wild. It's so bad for you though. Like the traditional kind of like soul food, for like southern comfort food kind of thing.
Yeah.
Literally praline bacon. So like bacon coated in sugar. Like like on the side kind of thing, like fried. So you'd have like fried chicken and then like bacon coated in sugar and deep fried like greens. Yeah, it's bonkers. It's absolutely bonkers.
But like that's why it's called like soul food, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is for the soul. It's not for your body. It's for the
certainly
soul.
Not for the heart. Like
not for the heart.
Not for the heart or the blood sugars.
No, absolutely not.
Certainly not.
Did you ever have like any like dysphoria or anything with your own body? Like,
yes.
Was it,
yeah.
How did that look to you?
It was eating stuff. Like
really?
Yeah, so it would be like lots of eating related stuff. So I used to make myself sick quite a lot after meals. And
bulimia.
I still like binging and purging, restricting.
I lost the back of my
intermittent fasting. I love that we can call it intermittent fasting now.
Love that. Yes. I love whenever
I love
they
that
use eating disorder.
Have been rebranded. I love
Rebrand by the bodybuilders.
Oh God.
I'm like, do you know you have body dysmorphia? Yeah. And they're like,
that's what I think when
I gotta get good.
You know, when you see those guys that are like super shredded. I'm
they do. A lot of them do.
Because I've been there. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know what that feels like and looks like.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean?
It is exactly the same thing, because like I see these big muscly men and they're like, oh, but I got back fat, and you're like, okay, that is you're kind of symptomatically adding it up, and then they have these really restrictive eating habits where like it's like plain chicken, boiled rice, boiled veg, and you're like, yeah. See you in therapy in 10 years.
Literally, yeah. It's
like,
really
when you're ready.
There was one of those boys, one of those like fitness guys died, didn't he? One of the kids who was like, I think he was a TikToker or a YouTuber or something, like a couple of years ago, that passed away. And he was like doing like all these like challenges, or like, I want to see if I can like, I'm cutting today, so I'm doing this amount of calories, and I'm running like 10k, and just died. Died.
It's so bad. I think that one of the best things I ever did though was I dated a nutritionist.
Okay. Oh wow, yeah, handy.
Dude, so good. Because I'd be like, oh, I can't have that because of X, Y, and Z, and they're like, what? 1, bullshit. 2, bullshit. 3, bullshit.
Yeah.
Here's the research. And I'm like, oh, I thought that was real. Like all of these like things you get fed, like where it's like, you know, oh, you can't have carbs before this time, or this thing, blah, 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 blah. Shouldn't eat before bed and all this stuff. And then they're like, no, literally, here's all the research.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? It's actually like way it's simpler than you think. Just like, it's basically just like eat food, move your body sometimes.
Yeah.
Let's go. It's literally that.
Treat yourself like a car.
Yeah.
If you're moving, you got to fill yourself up.
Do you know what I mean? Keep things
trucking.
moving, keep things oiled.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's so
simple, isn't it? It's so simple.
But I'm at that phase now where I'm like, I'm not eating for joy at the minute. Yeah. I'm literally doing the boring, like, okay, that dinner's got 700 calories. Let's do that because we missed lunch and blah, blah, blah. And then it's fun time, obviously, with sweeties.
Yeah, I'm still like that with calories and stuff. I always check the calories
on
stuff.
Yeah,
I get really obsessed with like nutritional content.
That was one of the reasons why I broke up with someone before.
Really?
I was like, you turned the calculator back on.
Yeah.
Because they were so obsessed with fitness that they would always say, I can't. They were like clocking their dinners and all this kind of stuff. And whenever you're sitting down and you're ready to eat a lovely meal, and then they're like putting it in automatically, you're then should I be thinking about that?
I had a PT that wanted me to like log all my like meals, and I couldn't do it.
No,
but I'm not sure why. It just freaked me out.
No, any good like nutritionists and stuff will ask you in consultation. They'll be like, "Oh, do you have a passive eating disorder?" And if you do, then they're like, "Well, we're not tracking."
Okay. Yeah.
Because if they don't ask you that question, then they put you on a tracker, and you have a passive and ED. Boom. Off you go to the races.
Yeah.
And then you get something fucking weird like orthorexia.
Yeah. Yeah, I think orthorexia may have been like a thing for me for a minute. I don't know. Maybe it's still happening. I don't know. But I still kind of mostly fast during the day, don't I, Tiff, and then kind of eat in the evenings.
Is that through choice or just pattern?
I don't know. I think it's just a pattern at this point. I think because I'm a stoner now as well, so my munchies will kick in. Yeah. So I kind of like, well, if I'm eating like a load of like really high calorie stuff while I've got the munchies, then why don't we? Because I eat so late as well because of the munchies. Like I don't have breakfast because it's kind of like I'm still full from the night before. I'm still packed full of food from the night before, and then often that will kind of last me all day, and then I'll kind of eat in the evening. So I'll just do kind of like one.
I'm kind of the same with my meds because like I take these nighttime antipsychotics that is like the munchies. Yeah. It's just as bad.
What does psychosis look like?
It varies for different conditions and different people. So like I had like mild psychosis before Christmas when I was really stressed. Yeah. So what
happened?
My old psychosis was very easy to pinpoint because I would hear whispers. Yeah. So I have to be so stressed. Yeah. So stressed for this to happen. Yeah. But I used to hear whispers. The annoying thing was I could never pick up on the gossip because the words weren't really words. So it was and then because that was so clear and about like it's like duh, it's not real.
But it sounds and feels real.
Sounds like it's in the room. Right. Like it's not in my head. It's totally there. And then right before Christmas, right? So my house could be haunted. Okay. Even the EMF reader sky high in that house at times. Right. So anyway.
EMF reader. What's that?
Some sort of field detection thing, and it loves to go up. Anyway, so my house could be haunted.
Janet.
I know, I love that spooky stuff. Spooky.
That's so weird.
I told you I like Ooga Booga. Yeah, okay, amazing. I do. All right.
That's so fucking weird. Go on, carry on.
So anyway, so there was always this. I think the house might be haunted, but like da 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 da. So I remember sitting in my office one day, again peak stress, and I clear as day, because I've lived with two big burly men in that house, right? Heard the top like 4 or 5 stairs go dunk dunk. Dunk someone onto the landing, and my housemate was due home any minute, and I was like, "Oh, are you home?" He's like, "I know, I'm a stop away." I was like, "Fuck's sake!" I was like, "The ghosties are out." Oh no! But then I was like, oh, "So either the house is haunted or I'm in psychosis, and I don't know what's fucking worse."
Yeah, how do you decipher what's going on?
Well, eventually it got to the point where I was sat and I heard shit moving. Yeah, sounded like somebody broke in upstairs, and I went, "Did you hear that?" And they went, "No," and I went, "Okay."
You're like, cool, I'm in psychosis, fab, love that.
Love this for me.
Love this for me.
But it was fine. I just called my shrink and was like, so this is happening. He's like, okay, we'll just pop more of your antipsychotics. All right. And I was like,
can psychosis be therapized, or is it just medicated only?
Don't think it can be therapized. I mean, yes and no. I suppose if you do like enough therapy to the point where you're not getting stressed to that point.
What was the one before Christmas? Was that what you just read?
The ghosties.
The ghosties. Okay.
Yeah. Cool. So then I didn't dive into whether or not it was either.
So if the whispery or the ghosties or whatever like come in and you're like, oh, I can hear whispering or da 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 da. If you're with someone and you say it to them out loud like this, I can hear this, and they go like, I can't. Are you then able to be like, oh right, I'm in psychosis? Are you aware that it?
Well, for me, it's so mild that I'm like, because it's technically really mild psychosis, and I'm like, oh well, back on my bullshit. Okay, cool. Well, for me, it's a good warning sign to be like, hey, you are very stressed, and you need to put yourself first right now. Yeah. So then I just put like safety precautionary measures and stuff. But the thing with my condition is like I get that psychosis, but then I almost like get psychosis with circumstances and situations. Yeah. So like, say I'm dating someone and I get into like psychosis-y stuff, then I'll be like almost like that's when I create the fake scenarios, but they're real. Okay. They're totally real. It's like the real is the voices in the room.
Fake scenarios with the person you're dating.
Yeah,
right.
It's the best example. So
like paranoia around like what they might be up to or what they might be thinking.
Incredibly insane paranoia. Like I was getting off the train and sometimes I was like, somebody's following me, which one is possible. Yeah. Because there was a creep on the train.
Irrational, yeah.
But then I was like, all right, we'll put the safety measures in, but also I'm calling you out because this might be bullshit. Tracking that kind of stuff. But then, I'll be like, oh, they're cheating on me. And it's like,
have you been cheated on?
Yeah.
Have you cheated on anyone before?
No.
No. Okay.
No. I've been the other woman once. That was really bad. But in my defense, okay, so I know it's awful, and I believe karma slapped my ass, and that's fine. I made my peace. But I was also a raging alcohol who thought she was going to die.
I mean, there is that.
So I wasn't in my clearest mind.
Yeah.
And also, I'd known that person since I was like 17. Like, I fell in love with them when I was like 17.
Okay.
And then that stuff started happening when I was like 18, and they were like 12 years older than me. Okay. So
how old were you when you had your first partner, boyfriend, or whatever?
First ever boyfriend, I was 16. 16. Yeah.
Did you lose your virginity with him?
Depends what you see virginity as, isn't it? Because it's like...
All right.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I don't know. It's a question I ask myself. It's like, did I lose my virginity to that girl, or did I lose it to that guy?
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
I think technically I'm a virgin then. Do you know what I mean?
There you go. Yeah.
Right?
I'll claim it.
Does butt stuff count as like sex?
Well, no, because that's the holy hole, isn't it?
There we are. The holy hole!
The holy hole. It doesn't count, you know? You didn't do it in the Jesus hole.
I didn't do it in the Jesus hole!
So you're fine.
Not Jesus hole.
So there you go. Because I always find that really funny.
Is that what you call it?
Well, no, I just knew so many girls that were like, no, I'm a virgin. It's like, but didn't you have anal last week? And they're like, yeah, but
that's not the Jesus hole, that's the naughty devil hole.
There you go. Yeah, sodomy's a sin, unless you're a woman, apparently.
Really? Oh, right, yeah,
just the way people interpret that.
Yeah,
it's like,
of course.
You took it up the arsehole. That's a sin, you weirdo. Read the book.
Read the book, guys.
Dude.
Honestly, I don't think they even talk about, like, literally putting dicks up bums today in the Bible.
Did you say
I
Sodom?
wouldn't have thought so. But Sodom is literally a city, isn't it?
That is true, yeah. But hell was also the place where they set things on fire. It was, the whole thing.
I mean...
I get it.
The Bible is quite it's like an absolute mess. It's not very well written, I don't think.
No, and then it's also like years and years of translation.
It needs like tightening up.
Because that like man layeth with another man thing is so funny because it was changed in the 1975 redistribution out of Germany. So basically...
It's been changed so many times,
It used to be man shall not lie with a child.
Yeah, right.
Which, we can all agree we don't fuck with pedos.
Yeah.
But then the Christians were like, no, this has to back up our rhetoric.
Yeah.
And we hate the gays right now, so...
Yeah.
Man shall not lie with another man.
Boom.
It's like, okay, well, what about all the books that were before that? Nobody going to pick up? Okay, cool. Let's just convince ourselves.
Well, it's like a political tool, isn't it? I mean, if you think about it, like, literally the only reason that, like, Christianity is a thing is because, like, there were, like, loads of messiahs at the same time as Jesus was out and about. Because there was, like, all kinds of, like, cults going on where people were trying to break away from, like, Judaism and do their own little thing-a-ling. It's kind of a similar setup to, like, what our guy did in our cult, where there was, like, all these things
I'm going to do my own thing.
And it's so, like, weird that, like, it's so, like, randomized that, like, that one Roman emperor was like, oh, yeah, cool, I guess I'll, like, join this one.
Yeah.
But I'm the emperor, so everyone's got to join it. Well, let's colonize Europe.
It's
Do you know what I mean?
What happened here, which was like, why does Protestants exist? It was because I want to marry another person.
Literally.
And it's like, you horn dog, you just made a religion.
Literally just made a religion to, like, serve
It's
your
the
own,
same
like,
thing,
ends.
but just, you can do that now.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then you got funny things like Northern Ireland, then those two religions are fighting each other. And it's like, babes,
it's the same
all it is
thing.
you just can get divorced and you don't believe in Mary. We're the same fucking thing in a different
It's
pot.
wild, isn't it? It's absolutely wild.
And fight.
Yeah.
I'm like, babes.
I also find it really interesting because obviously when, like, Rome... When they were colonizing, like, Europe and, like, taking Christianity out into all the kind of, like, weird witchy folk, like because we would have been, like, burning
pagans
sage and
in Ireland,
worshipping the sun and all
we
that business.
do loads of this stuff still.
Yeah.
Like we like light a candle and pray for somebody. That's a pagan thing.
Well, the reason that Catholicism has all the smells and bells is because of paganism.
Yeah.
Like, bishops' hats are literally fish.
Yes,
Do you know what I mean? So it's
I
like,
love all of it. And then I
it's
remember,
really interesting, isn't it?
I remember as a teen in my anti-Christianity phase going to mass for Christmas.
I'm still in that phase.
I went to mass because my nan was there, and it was always, you never know when she's gonna die, so you always had to go. So I went, and then I remember turning up, and there was a Christmas tree, and I was like, you aren't even trying anymore, lads. You aren't even trying. So I found all that stuff funny.
Yeah. No,
but
it's funny.
It's that's why I'm like, nothing matters. Nothing's real.
Nothing's real.
There is no purpose, so make a purpose. Kind of vibes.
Yeah.
But
I believe in this. I believe in human beings.
Yeah,
Do you know what
absolutely.
I mean? I believe in kind of like being kind while you're
human
here.
connection, love,
yeah,
care.
100.
That's like all
we've got
you
to take
can
care of each other and we've got to take care of ourselves.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean?
And like people get caught up in all this.
Take care of the planet.
I know, God bless her.
She's screwed.
Yeah.
Rather we're screwing her. Fuck.
I try my best. But like I've said this before, it just feels like turning up to a bomb site with a dustpan
really
and brush.
Does. And also the fact, the way
we're getting blamed as the corporations.
Literally, like what are you bollocking me about my recycling for? How about like stop mining God knows what?
Stop poisoning the waters.
Literally, like
the Simpsons again, or Trey. You know, like the 3-eyed fish thing.
Oh yeah. The 3-eyed fish.
That's literally where we're going.
I love how the SpongeBob is all based on the 3-eyed fish thing.
Yeah,
it's all based on like nuclear waste, isn't it? Being dumped down there or something.
Yeah, I love SpongeBob.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
I quote it and then nobody gets it.
Do you watch what's your go-to kind of like soothing watch thing? Like what do you watch on, like what to watch to kind of relax? Podcast. You listen to podcasts? I literally watch. You watch them? I watch podcasts. Yeah. Do you listen to the Sarah Silverman podcast?
No.
That's a good one.
I just have loads of silly, goofy ones that talk about memes and current events, and then I have serious ones and like intense ones, and then just like some personalities that I like online that are just my comfort people.
Yeah.
I find that way more because like I don't really watch a lot of like TV, and that's because like what I love about living on this planet and being a person is hearing about the human experience and other people's lived experiences and things that have gone on, stories, anecdotes, feelings, all that. That is my favorite. That gives me life, and that's what I like to listen to. People, people I like, people I respect, talking about lives and people things.
Some of those NPR ones are really good. There's one called like Invisibilia, which is about like invisible forces that hold the world together. So they'll do an episode on like empathy, or an episode on kind of like numbers, or like just weird stuff like that. It's like really, really fun.
Yeah, I try to have at least a half hour of like educational in there in my time to digest content, something that's furthering. Because they always say like read a non-fiction book, and I'm like, how about I listen to a non-fiction podcast?
I watch a lot of non-fiction YouTube videos. So I was learning about like the Saturn's moon the other day. Saturn's got this like wacky moon that like blows like. Have you heard about that moon?
Yes.
That blows all the ice water and it's created the big blue ring.
Yeah.
So cool.
I love things like that.
It's so cool, isn't it? I love stuff like that.
Fascinating. And then I always fall down these deep dives of like. I love a good conspiracy theory. Not that I buy into them.
Yeah.
I just like.
They're fun.
Oh, your brain came up with that.
Yeah.
Quirky.
Yes. So
fun.
So cool.
And the more close to possible. Like I because I'm like, but I'm not gonna turn into someone who starts investing their time in it. I just find it as fun thought experiments, because some of them are true. Yeah. Whenever you look at the conspiracy iceberg, some of the ones that are on the top are the ones that have been confirmed true. And then the deeper you go, the crazier they get. And that stuff I love. I love deep dives of that. Fun.
There's an amazing show on Netflix actually. Was it Netflix or Disney Plus? One or the other. I can't remember the name of it, but it's basically like an adult animation thing, and it's about the deep state. So like the protagonist, she works for the deep state, but the sort of premise of the show is that every single conspiracy theory is real. So they're like, oh guys, we've got to get the chemtrails like get back up and running. Don't take them to the edge of the sea because they'll see that the earth is flat. But like literally every single absurd conspiracy theory is true in this universe. And like the deep state, this like company that they work for, it's like kind of Men in Black or something, where they're the people that are running it. It's really funny.
I love that stuff. I just fall through phases. I remember going through a phase of like black holes and literally listening to like big deep.
I still haven't wrapped my head around black holes. Have you? Because I can't get my head around it.
So basically, I ended up having to go into like learning a bit about quantum physics.
Yeah, same.
So that I could understand even the basic
but I've forgotten it all
of
because I'm a
string
stoner.
theory.
I forget everything immediately.
I'm a goldfish. So at a time for about 6 months, if you ask me questions, I could have given you the answers.
Do you find that like when you're literally watching something, you're like, I comprehend this and I can understand it, but then as soon as you like turn away from it, it all goes?
Well, my thing is if I'm not conversing about it, not thinking about it, so it's basically like when I was a kid, I was fluent in Irish. Yeah. But then when I'm not speaking Irish, I forgot it because I'm not talking about it.
Have you forgotten your own bloody
Most
language?
Of it.
That's terrible.
I know. Look what you did to me. But we have to wrap it up because I could literally chat to you forever and a day because I have so much fun. And honestly,
lovely.
I would love to have you back because there's still so much more that I feel like we're just touching the surface.
Well, maybe you should have me back with my. So I've got a radio show on Soho Radio called Themish, which is now a podcast. So it's up on Mixcloud currently. We're about to record season 2.
Love that.
And we're just gonna like spunk them all out in a wanna.
Nice.
Do you know what I mean, we're just gonna record like 12 episodes
Netflix.
and like just plop them out. So maybe we could come back on me and my podcaster.
I would love to.
My podcast cohort, Miss Baby Soul.
Ooh, fun name.
Yeah, it's a good name, isn't it?
Love it. I wish I could rebrand my name. I'm stuck with this one.
Singer like you. Singer-songwriter.
I'm a trier. I don't even identify as a singer.
Do you not?
No. Anytime
What do you
someone goes,
identify as?
oh, you're the singer. I'm like, I'm the trier. That's all I am. I'm just here and I'm trying.
She's here. She's queer. Get over it.
everywhere but here. Yeah, I know. Yeah, queer is such a funny one. People get so confused.
Yeah.
Because I identify as queer, but then I publicly can't say it because people then get confused because they think queer means.
We're publicly saying it. Janet Devlin is queer as a 9-bob note.
Mm-hmm. I wrote a really fun song this morning.
Are you about to get cancelled?
I wrote like a little gay love song.
Oh, fabulous!
But like a jokey gay love song.
Okay.
It was like called Plastic Pistol. It was about lesbian sex, but it's country. It's like balls to the wall country.
Gosh. Can you please write a song called Jesus Hole?
Jesus Hole. I do think that's a pretty fun concept though, where it's like because there's ways of saying things without saying it. You know?
Yeah. I mean,
and that's even more
pretty
fun.
on the nose, but...
Yeah, I know. But I think there's a way to do it. Well, because the lesbian one was like, you know, she's so good at like shooting with a plastic pistol and not a real gun.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, she's got me so well convinced that I couldn't tell the difference.
Okay.
And I don't miss the real thing.
I got
plastic pistol, toy guns.
Yes, clever. She's a wordsmith.
Yeah. Getting ready for this queer girl country. You know? But... where can we find you, actually, is a very good question. I'll link it all in the description, but where are you on?
So you can find me at Airy something on Instagram. You can follow Themish at we.r.themish, also on Instagram.
Lovely.
You can look at my styling work at www.aaronfranciswalker.com, which will actually probably, I'm going to turn it to Airy something. .com like in the next
I've been on your website
actually. So by the time it might be airysomething.com. Try both, guys.
I'll link it, so it's going to be there.
Yeah, whatever's linked below, that's the things.
Yes. I love it. By the way, check out their website because it's impressive.
Thanks, Janet.
It's just
I
like
appreciate
so
you.
aesthetic. I love it.
So aesthetic.
Then you look at my like Instagram and it's like, what the
Chaos.
clown fart is that?
Chaos.
Righty. Thank you so much for your time and thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me. Lots of love.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
If you've made it this far, thank you so much for listening. If you have any guest suggestions, topic requests, or feedback, then hit me up in the YouTube comments. Don't forget to follow the podcast so you never miss an episode, or sign up to the Patreon for even more content. Have a happy day.